Hello, y'all. Sorry. Lisa Bowles here, otherwise known as the Soul Mapper. And you are joining me on, what is the date today? You can see I'm discombobulated. Thursday, May 28th, 2026. It's 1 o'clock Eastern. I'm rocking the sunglasses because I have a migraine today. And everything's a little more dark in here than usual because light. So I'm going to have my camera turned off most of the time because nothing to see. But I'm going to wait a little bit longer and let a few more people arrive before we do that. Hello, hello. I'm not watching who's arriving. So who's here? Amy. Hi, Amy. Faye is here. Hello. Helen. Hello. Marilyn. Hello. Sabina. Am I saying that right, Sabina? Or is it Sabine? Susan's here too.
That's right. Exactly how you said it.
Sabina. Okay.
Uh,
Welcome. Thanks for helping me know I was on the right side of your name.
I'm gonna write you a little note.
Okay. I'll
Thanks.
look forward to it. I'm not getting in trouble, am I? Okay. A couple more people are joining, just watching before we do. All of you who are joining me now, you'll see I have sunglasses on and it's fairly dark in the room where I am. I've got a migraine today. So I'm going to turn off my camera in just a minute. I wanted to greet more of you before I did that. Erin's coming. Oh, Erin, hello. It's been a long time, girl. But I wanted to greet y'all before I turned off my camera so you know why. And because there's not much to see here. Hi. Okay. I might be a little lower energy today too, because yeah. Alrighty. So turning off the camera. Bless you. Thank you for being patient with me. Okay. Thank you for checking that slide, Erica. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep up the pace, the same pace I normally do. I just realized I have to change my glasses because I can't read otherwise. Anyway, carrying on. We're talking about June, and June's a really interesting month for those of you who remember from Live 2026. Q3 is a big quarter because we got all kinds of super honking stuff going on. The super honking stuff, super honking stuff starts at the end of the month. For those of you in the current who are participating in Living the Deeper Story, please keep your eye on that because holy moly. Please go check the dates of our practices in June, July, and make sure you have them in your calendar because you're gonna wanna lean into practice. Alrighty. And then in the middle of June, there's something really lovely, and I wanted to make sure that y'all knew about it. Okay. Next slide, please. Here's all the backbeats that are still working away and have been in some cases for a couple of years anyway. You probably want to take a screenshot of this and have it within your eyesight if you're tracking things, just so you know what's working away quietly or not in the background. Please note that the top two, our curative effect Chiron and our fortune finder Jupiter, move towards the end of June. Okay. And next month, we'll have new positions. Okay. All righty. We talk a little bit about Chiron this month, but boy, oh boy. So when you screenshot this next month, it's going to look different. Alrighty, next slide, please. Shorter term influences still working away in the background. So I'm not going to review all these, but you can go back to the notes, the guide for last month, because these all began in May, and just refresh yourself. So you know that these are still having sway. Okay. And in some cases, that might be really important for you because you have a lot of personal planets in the signs that they're working in right now and will be for a while. Okay. And if that's the case, you want to keep your eye on it. Next slide, please. All right, we're diving in. That was fast, Erica. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, so on the 1st till August the 9th, so a little more than a month, our communication savant, Mercury, is working away in Cancer. Now, that is because there's a retrograde. That's why he will be here longer than usual. Alrighty, now I'm going to go to my notes to make sure I cover everything. And ordinarily, I'd say if I don't make eye contact, it doesn't mean I don't love you. I'm just making sure I don't miss anything on you, but I have my camera off. So, and if you've joined late and you're wondering why I'm not on camera, I have a migraine today. So I have my space is darker than usual and I don't look my best. So no need to see that. So P and D are privacy and discretion are superpowers during this period. All right, more of us are going to feel inclined, and those who are already inclined towards privacy and discretion, more inclined than usual. And so communication-wise, a lot of us are going to feel like there's only certain things we want to say, and that's okay. I just want to say that. In this super connected, everybody's on, or almost everybody's on social media, that could feel weird to a lot of people. And for those who are already inclined this way, it might amplify and that might feel weird. I just wanted you to know in advance because it's nothing to be concerned about. Alrighty? And if you get coaching, I'm just going to say this because I have. If you get coaching from someone who says you are not being brave, you might want to mention this. Okay. What is likely to flourish during this period? And this is important so that you can combine this with the overarching privacy and discretion orientation. Heartfelt exchanges. We want more heartfelt, real, connected exchanges. Okay. We'll want conversations that are deeper and warmer and more compassionate. So compassion and depth conversations. Okay. And then third, tending to our nest, for lack of a better phrase. We're just going to feel like everything needs to be warm and comfortable and maybe even luxe, but that our environment, whether it's online or in real life, just, we're going to want to tend it. Okay. We want a kind of homey feeling. So we may want to spruce things up. We may want to dress things up. We may want to make things warmer. We may have had in the back of our minds, oh, I really should. And now we'll feel like the time. Why? Because ordinarily in communication, Seva, Mercury, we're thinking, I'm talking, I'm communicating. Our home communicates things. Our environment communicates things first to us and then to those who join us in those spaces. And so this might feel important, especially if you're talking graphic design and website design and, your home and workspaces online. Alrighty, for those of you who occupy those areas, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The same with communication. We're going to want it to feel more homey, more, you're safe here. We conduct ourselves with warmth and compassion and discretion, wink, wink, okay? This is a heartfelt place. This is not surface. And again, what's really interesting is Mercury tends to want to move fast. That's the pace and rhythm of Mercury. But while in Cancer, there's a kind of slowdown. And it's a yummy slowdown. And ordinarily, Mercury gets a little cranky when one of the signs asks him to slow down. But in this particular case, it's like, okay, so I get you. Alrighty? All right. Next slide, please. Oh, we forgot about the retrograde alert. Can we go back? Thank you very much. June 29th till July 23rd. But keep in mind the pre-retrograde shadow starts on the 18th. And you might want to keep that in mind and do the usual Mercury retrograde preparation. Alrighty? Okay. Now the next slide, please. Thank you, Erica. All right. Till the 9th of July, our charisma of cause, otherwise known as Venus, will be working through Leo. And this is kind of a deal. The spotlight's calling to everyone. Get yourself, and by that I mean your work in the world, your contribution. If you're someone, and just remember that this is overlapping some with our communication Savoured working in Cancer. So there might be a little bit of, what? I'm at home, I don't really what? It's putting your work out into the spotlight, okay? Now, if you happen to be someone like me, who is the voice and the face of the work, just know that there could be some inner about this. But when our charisma of cause is here, it's be in the spotlight for the sake of the contribution and difference you can make. Enter the spotlight so you can put the work in the spotlight, okay? So you've got a few weeks to get yourself ready for this. It's already starting to brew. I've talked to some people of late who are already feeling this, and given a great many of us here in this community are what I would call, myself included, sensitives. Don't be surprised if you're feeling this early too. And that if you're, called to be quiet and private and all that other stuff. I also want you to know that this may also come with a tug towards finding and establishing deeper initial or deeper connections with a creative collaborator. Now, for many of us in this community, our work has a collaborative spirit. So even though we might be working with quote unquote clients, we're collaborators with them, okay? So don't be surprised if the tug includes a tug to find or connect more deeply with clients, prospective clients, or returning clients, okay? And therefore, some of the tug in terms of putting your work into the spotlight might be work that makes it clear to prospective folks, whether they're in your existing community or starting to be attracted to your community, that the spirit of your work is highly collaborative. It might be important to make clear, particularly given what we just talked about with our communication savant working in Cancer. Okay, and the overlap. The other thing that's really important here is that this really wants to encourage you to put your talents in the spotlight so that they're noticeable, so that they're recognizable, okay? And it also asks that you keep your eye or your heart out for the chance to strategically self-promote. And by self-promote, I mean, again, if you are the face, the voice, the representative of your work, keep in mind for you, as I do, you're its representative, but it's really the work that you're putting on display. It's really the work that you are offering in a promoting way that's suitable for you, okay? In other words, if you're someone who's reticent about these things, this is gonna kind of give you a little tap on the bum, all right? Okay. Oh, one last thing. If you need to get your hair done, if you need to update your style, and some of that can get stirred up by this one, because Venus and Leo, book your appointments before Mercury working in Cancer goes retrograde, okay? You can even during the pre-retrograde shadow, but just get your appointment on the books and get the work you want done before things go retrograde, because after, alrighty? Next slide, please. Okay, supermoon in Gemini. Oh, this is a super, super potent supermoon. um, and it ignites fresh starts through a couple of key things. One, friendships. If you've got a friendship that could use a boost of freshness, or inserting or infusing your community connections with yum yum. Okay. Networks. So if you've been ignoring a network or your attention or focus has been elsewhere for good reason, this is a good time to go nurture the network. Communication that's genuine and connecting. Okay. And then peer-to-peer connections. In general, there's a fresh start or couple waiting for many because they go deeper with friendships, go deeper in the networks, go deeper into peer-to-peer connections. Okay. This is a prime time to strengthen and nourish and nurture your circle. Or welcome new members, new allies who share your view of the world, your heartfelt desires for the world, etc., etc. Make eye contact. A lot of us are in our devices a lot more than we used to be. And so making eye contact could be very important. Just remember to take breaks from making eye contact because a lot of us are used to being a little more, not quite so stare into each other's eyes, have been for a couple of years now. But the reason I mention this is because there could be a perfect collaborator out there waiting, and you don't want to miss that. And they don't want to miss you. The other thing to be aware of, because Gemini, it oversees siblings, neighbors, and coworkers. And so this may open or kick off a brand new chapter with someone who's been part of your orbit all along. Now, for some of you, that might be shudder, but for a lot of us, that could be a good thing. And I just wanted to make sure you knew about that. Okay? The last thing is take time to see who's doing their best to walk their own talk. With Gemini, we can get very, very excited, especially when there's new moon energy. We can vibe and be like really, really excited and start talking and be like ready to jump in because that's, in many respects, that's just Gemini enthusiasm. Do your best to verify that the talking is being walked, okay? And not everybody's perfect, we're all human, but you do want to vet just to be sure, especially if we're talking about creative collaborators in our work. Okay, next slide, please. What time is it? Okay, we're doing okay. I'm sorry, I have June 19th next. Erica, did we miss one? Or is it just me? We did miss one. Okay, I'm going to make, this will be in the guide. This is my bad. I checked the slides and missed noticing one was missing. So June 19th till September the 17th, our curative effect Chiron moves into Taurus for a preview. Remember at the top of today, I talked about the big backbeats and one was going to change. Well, June 19th is when the first one changes. But it's only until September. And that means that our curative effect, for the first time in 8 years since 1980, the first time in Taurus. But he has been working in Aries for 8 years. He hasn't been back here since 1983, so it's been a while. And what this marks is a preview period that kind of gives us a look at what kind of karmic shift may be ahead for us. Now, I'm going to talk about the collective, but I want you to know that this is going to be a big, big deal for many of us. Those of you with Chiron in Aries in your birth chart or soul map, this is going to be a substantial move. and you're going to feel it. For those of you with your Chiron in Taurus, this is going to be a big move. Okay. Um, Taurian centric wounds are the thing. Um, so these are the kinds of things that are likely to be stirred up, in part because um, we're wanting to help ourselves see more readily where things need tending and have not been tended, or this is the next round of tending, because these things tend to be circular or cyclical. But the Taurian wounds most likely are wounds around money, wounds around security, and wounds around self-worth. Okay? Not because we're trying to torture ourselves, but because we're trying to see where the next layer of healing potential exists for us. Now, collectively, the world, humanity, is going to be addressing these same things too, but the way we're going to be doing that is a little bit different because Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, like we've got a lot of big picture stuff going on. And this move, along with all those other big moves, not a coincidence. And so we'll be looking at money and money wounds collectively differently because of that. We'll be looking at security and security wounds differently because of that, etc. Now, the wounds likely to be stirred up and asking for attention and care are those tied to family conditioning and ancestral patterns. Again, not an accident. Think about what the world's going through. Not a bad time. And if you keep this context, this understanding in your pocket when, checking the headlines or watching what's going on around us, it will help you stay steady, particularly if some of your own wounding gets stirred up. Okay? Now, there's opportunity here, potential. What is that? If you tap into these tender spots, you'll find that there is a gift in it for you, the ability to turn your scars into wisdom and share it with others walking similar healing paths or journeys. Your healing can become their healing. And you can use this window to notice what still needs your attention so that when Chiron comes back into Taurus, because at the end of this particular preview, September 17th, he's going to go back into Aries for a final lap. And then in April of 2027, he'll return to Taurus and stay there until May 5th, 2034. Okay? And that's when the deeper work really starts. And if you pay attention to this preview and watch what's stirred up in your life, you'll be ready or readier for the deeper work that's called for starting April 14th, 2027. Okay? Okay. June 21st until July 22nd. For those of you like, wait, where's the slide? We're on the wrong slide. We're missing a slide. Everything I just said will be in the guide. Okay, so don't worry. This slide, June 21st until July 22nd, our force of nature, the sun, will be working through Cancer, and happy solstice. Happy birthday, Cancers. Okay. Now, this is really lovely for a great many people because for a lot of us, it's going to feel like homecoming. Okay. The sun slides into tender, loving, compassionate, deep Cancer while it's reaching its peak at summer solstice. And that's just yum. Okay? It will put the spotlight on family, and not necessarily biological family, but family, connection, and emotional nourishment or nurturance. Alrighty? Now, how many of you, as you heard me say that, were thinking about tending to family, tending to connection, and tending to emotional nourishment or nurturance of other people. Okay. How many of you included yourself? Honestly. That's part of what this is, because when the sun is working through Cancer as it's moving around the zodiac, this is also a call to remind us to include ourselves in that extension of nourishing connection and family. All right. So that wasn't a gotcha. It was just to give you a framework. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the reminder. All right. This is also going to have us thinking, we talked about this earlier because Mercury will, right? Mercury in Cancer. Think nesting again. Think guesting too, because when the sun is working through Cancer, we tend, not necessarily in great big bold ways, like I'm not talking, invite 150 people to a backyard barbecue, but maybe that is your jam. It is in inviting people to share experiences with you, like inviting relatives over for a long weekend, and having very small, intimate experience, yummy food, delicious conversation, that kind of thing. Or you and your besties going on a camping trip, or meeting old college roommates at the beach. You haven't seen each other forever, and this is a great time to reconnect, that kind of thing. Okay. But it's also nesting and guesting in your work or your business too, to have that kind of vibe and deliciousness and intimacy. Okay. But in a relaxed way. Yeah. The thing to also keep in mind is we can expect a big increase in raw emotions and maybe even a bit of moodiness. Now, in part because we've got some other stuff going on, like our Chiron shifting into Taurus. Okay? Remember that these things are not acting in isolation. There's overlap. And it's important that we keep that in mind as you pay attention to how you are called and what you're experiencing day to day, or what your people, your clients, your students, etc., what they're experiencing. Consider this a big fat nudge to really invest yourself in self-care. All right. And nostalgia is likely to go way, way up. And it might tug some of us back into favorite childhood places. Okay, remember Mercury's retrograde for a big part of this Cancer season. So the going back thing that's often involved in retrograde returns, that will be playing in here too. For those of you who provide experiences of nostalgia, or you offer services or products that involve or invoke nostalgia, don't be surprised if there's a kick up in terms of purchasing activity or interest, because that could be here too. All righty? Okay. Next slide, please. June 28th until August the 11th, our action instinct Mars working through Gemini. Gemini Cancer, folks. All right. The pace is going to pick up. The pace is going to pick up. Now, I could have said that because our communication savant, but he's working someplace else. So not so much. Here, oh yeah. So the urge to take action in a fairly, timely manner, that's going to be in the air, and substantively so. All right. The pace, quick-wittedness. This wants to turn everyday life into opportunity through action. All right. There could also be an increase in the desire to be persuasive, to kind of move people into action. Take care, because we live in a culture that disproportionately values action. Just going to say. Now, I'm not saying don't act or don't take what I just said as an excuse not to. This is going to give you another push, a nudge, and it means to. There's good reason for it. But you just want to make sure that you're not in the disproportionate side and weighing and measuring internally. You're moving at the pace that's picked up for you. Okay. There's also likely to be an increase in people wanting to invest, to purchase, to participate, even if money doesn't change hands yet. So pay close attention to all the other moves we talk about throughout live. But in general, from June 28th until August the 11th, there's an increased possibility and potential for people wanting to learn about what's on offer. So webinars, taste tests, this entire period, 2 thumbs up. Again, watch the rest of what's moving around and gauge timing, but not so bad, okay? Keep an eye on your screen time. While our action instinct Mars is here, I am expecting, and I actually have this in, I put this into my calendar first, because I can doom scroll like the rest of us, to give myself notifications morning and afternoon to watch my screen time, because when Mars is here, we tend to up our screen time. I've watched it more than once, so just keep that in mind. Log off when you can. And remind yourself there's a lot more fascinating things, in particular conversations, waiting to happen out in the real world. We can get really caught up in the virtual world when Mars is here. Okie dokie. Super important note number 1. If you want to foster trust, make sure you can actually deliver on the things you say you can. Because while Mars is here, we can be a little more enthusiastic and a little more, I don't know about you, but the entrepreneurial spirit that's alive in me has me underestimate how much time things are going to take sometimes. Don't know if you shared that experience. Anyway, while Mars is here, we can also misjudge how much time things are actually going to take or how much is actually involved. Okay? So the just do it nature of Mars can just inhabit our talk, and oops. Super important note number 2. It can also stir up and kind of give folks who are coming from propensity without their awareness a little more yakety yakety yak, and a little less ability to check or care if they're tripping over their principles. Okay, so just note that that's amplified too. And I'm not saying that to check you or me, although not a bad thing, but stuff, people who by and large are just kind of talking out of propensity in the first place, that's going to get bigger. So yeah, just take care. Okay. Next slide, please. June 29th till July the 23rd, our communication savant shifts, goes retro. Oh my goodness. This is the second retrograde of the year. And for 3 weeks, take real care with anything involving family. And that's, biological family or family of the heart, whatever you want to consider it, family to you, home projects. Okay. There can be miscommunication. Not a good time to start a renovation. Just saying. No, I wouldn't do it. Unless your stars say something very different, I really wouldn't advise it. And then heartfelt conversations. If you need to have a really important conversation with someone that matters to your heart, take real care, because it just would be so easy because of this. Okay. You want to do whatever you can to make sure that what you're intending to convey is as crystal clear as possible, as crystal clear to you as much as them and to them. All right? Seriously. Double check anything that you write, double check anything before you, like, just double check, triple check. Have someone else check. All righty? In your business, in your work. Yeah. If you're going to be posting anything, publishing it, just double check, triple check. Okay? For clarity as much as anything else. Now, this is also an ideal time to, so hit nostalgia again, but from a different place, to revisit old memories, to sort through family keepsakes, or reconnect with folks, relatives in particular, you haven't heard from in a long time. Okay, so that's the nostalgia angle, but it comes with concrete and very clear actionable orients. And then the second one is, don't let sentimentality cloud your judgment. We're talking about the clarity thing again. This may call upon you to set or stand for your boundaries. Set clear or clearer boundaries, or review so you can get clear about what a boundary means to you and why, so that you can stand for it more firmly. And then it's a good time to practice saying what you mean with firmness, kind firmness, but with firmness. Okay? And I say that in your life and in your work. All right, next slide, please. Same day, okay? June 29th, full moon in Capricorn. And this is going to be a lovely full circle full moon because it's a mid-year checkpoint from the new moon that we experienced way back at the beginning of the year. Okay? Now, the annual full moon in, go-getter Capricorn, it's going to spotlight ambitions, particularly in your work, particularly in your business. Okay? But check what house Capricorn's in for you, because that will give you an indication of the area of your life that's most likely going to be active ambitions come to life or resurface or go, hey, you forgot about me. Okay? And it's a really good time to measure, gauge what's on track and what's gone off track. All right? So if you had aims, goals, resolutions, I'm not a big fan of that word, but resolutions for yourself for the year, it's a time to revisit them. Which ones still light a fire for you? And which ones you're like, I think I'm going to let this one go. Alrighty? It's also a really good time to kind of ask yourself if you have something of a plan, something of a set of anticipated steps. They don't have to be carved in stone, but something that you can check in with to help yourself stay true to the aims you have. Okay? And then the other thing that this really wants for us, for you and for me, is for us to pause and acknowledge how far you've come. And then give thanks to the people who've supported you, who've helped you. Okay? Yeah. Next slide, please. 30th of June till July 26th, 2027. Yep. This is a long one. A little over a year. 13 months. Our fortune finder, otherwise known as Jupiter, moves into Leo. Now, this is the first time that our fortune finder has been there since 2025. So it's been a while. Now, here's the thing about this one. No more low profiles. If you've been keeping yourself or your work an unacknowledged or unfound secret, this is going to ask you to expand upon your communication, your expressions. Okay? This is going to ask you to step out. Again, in the name of your work, in the name of its impact, in the name of what you love, what you value, what you're called to. Right? Since June, early June of last year, our fortune finder Jupiter has been working through Cancer, encouraging you and I to nurture family ties, to tend to our emotional foundations, and create a sense of lasting security, whatever that meant or needed to be for you. It asked us to do that groundwork so that we could have a solid or solider foundation or launch pad for the next thing, which is now this. Okay? Yeah. It's time to go claim center stage for your work in the arena that's right for you. Not the one you're told to, but the one that is right for you. And I just want you to know so there's all kinds of stuff this month that really, really, really is saying, hang on, no more you can be reticent, but you still got to go. All right. You might have misgivings. You might not feel ready, but you still got to go. Time to go, because you're not going to get ready if you allow I'm not ready to keep you from the work that will help you be ready. Okay. All right. Fashion of all kinds on the body, hair, in the home, on website, like the fashion of the day. Boy, oh boy, we're going to see some movements there. If that's your work, keep your eye out. Romance. And I mean that. But I don't just mean, going out for a nice dinner and throwing some candles on. I mean the romance of life. That's going to be bigger everywhere. And I mean everywhere. In writing, in films, in just all over the place. Creative self-expression. And being brave enough to allow ourselves to be creatively expressive. And I'm not talking about painting or music. I'm like, what is your creative expression? And if you don't necessarily have a clear answer to that, it's very likely you will have more clarity about what that is by the time our fortune finder is ready to shift from Leo to the next spot next year. All right. Check what house Leo is in for you, especially the first cusp. Like that will tell you. This asks us to be brave. This asks us to be heartful. This asks us to risk take in the name of what we love, what is precious to us. Okay? It asks us to share our gifts widely from warmth and generosity. I mean, Leo rules the heart, so makes sense, yes? Okay. Leadership is another very big thing here. We will be called into leadership, whatever form is ours to step into. Okay? For the next 13 months, this is a big fat call to leadership. And if you've got about leadership, go investigate the to find out what the is made up of. And don't let that keep you from answering whatever call comes to you from here. Because it will ask you to let yourself be inspired and inspire, to be empowered or more empowered and to empower. Okay? Rising tide lifts all boats, my friends. That's this. Now, keep this in mind. While here, like Jupiter in general, the spirit of expansion, among many other things, but he doesn't tend to have an off switch. Okay? And when he's working in Leo, you could kind of double that. So keep that in mind. you may need to insert breaks, to insert downtime, and to keep yourself to it. Hold it as sacred. Watch too, because this can also come with over extension, over promising, because we're going to expand, we're going to go. And, the impulse to check to see how humane our yeses or our commitments are before we make them. Yeah, yeah. So you may need to call on other aspects of your map and go, hey, can you keep an eye on me here? Or to say to others that you trust and kind of walk alongside, if you notice me doing this, can you just, whoa, all right? Now, the other thing that can happen, particularly for those who are functioning from a great deal of propensity, unchecked, unacknowledged, unconscious propensity, is an inflation of ego, an inflation of performativeness. Now, real confidence wants to radiate from here. Real leadership from conscious elevation, it wants to radiate from here. But for those of us where there's pockets of propensity, or those of us who live primarily from propensity, this could get very egoic very fast and stay there. This is not about performativeness. This is about residing in authenticity and asking yourself to increase your capacity to be in leadership, to be generous, to be all the things we've talked about, expressive. Alrighty? And it's also going to be a really good time to see, and this will be true for all of us because none of us are all done, to see where you may still be performative and not know, to see where you are ego tugged and not have had an opportunity for a while to see that. This is a good time. Okay? So please take the time while this is in play, to give yourself regular switch offs and to check in because it could be important. Okay. We haven't even talked about the sweet influence yet. What's going on? Yeah, it's coming, I promise. Next slide, please. Opportune days. Opportune days. So the 3rd, the 9th, and the 10th. 3rd, the 9th, no. Sorry, I'm going to look at this. The 9th, the 16th, the 25th. I have them in date order in my notes. I haven't broken them out. Apologies. Notice the 25th has an asterisk. That means that there's 2 influences that day, and that's important to know. Let's go to the 9th, shall we? Next slide, please. Sweet move alert. Yes, here we go with the sweetness. Now, this is likely to last up to 2 weeks. But this is a really potent period because Venus, our charisma of cause, and Jupiter, that's right, fortune finder. Oh my gosh, the 2 money planets. Now, they're not just about money, but I'm saying these 2 meet up and partner in huge, big ways. And that means a couple of really important things. If you've been kind of tending your bonds, particularly in your work, this could mean a bumper glow up in connection and folks wanting to draw closer, do work with you, could even, mean some more investment in purchases. Okay. And it carries a sweetness to it. When these 2 work this way, oh my goodness. Because it wants to help you see what kind of difference you can make when you offer care and genuine care. When you offer genuine care and connection, etc., etc. Okay? Now, one of the things to be aware of is we could be over generous while this is in play. And you want to be careful. I'm going to say this We live in a culture where a great many of us have been taught, required to overgive in certain areas. You know who I'm talking about. And this could have that go into overdrive. It could also, depending on what area this is activating in your map, okay? Cancer, okay? Particularly cancer. It could have you go, yeah, no, not going to do that anymore, but I'm going to withdraw in a loving fashion. And the moment we go, yeah, I'm not going to do that no more, other things can rush in. Good things, lovely things. Okay? It's also a really important time to kind of drop off a note, a handwritten note. Treat somebody for coffee. Send a really supportive voice note. Do something that communicates to people that they matter to you and you have been paying attention, not because it benefits you, but because you wanted to. All right? Offer a little reassurance. Help people know that you genuinely care, that they are cherished, and the connection between you is cherished. And here's the thing, that vibe will multiply. Don't do it because you're trying to get the multiplication. Do it because you actually want to. Okay? No strings, baby. All right? And again, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Next, we're going to talk about the 16th. It is a stellar day for getting in deeper touch with your yearnings. Okay? What yearnings? Huh. Let's see. Let's see. You're yearning to expand. You're yearning to grow. You're yearning to experience more abundance. And I don't just mean money, but abundance of all kinds of things, important things to you. Okay? Then June 25th, bond nurturing systems and plans. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a guy I know, he's been running a business, a solo business, for probably 25 years now. And there's two things he does every single year. One, he holds a business birthday ice cream celebration. He calls everyone within driving distance to come join him at a park, and he makes beverages and ice cream available to everybody. There's games, bring the kids, let's have fun, let's get to know each other better every single year. The second thing he does is on the date when someone did some work with him, first began to do some work with him, that date every year he sends out an appreciation card and tells them what doing work with him has meant in his life and continues to. Okay? But he sets up system. He has a plan. And he makes sure that he is involved in that plan every single year. He touches it up, he gives it a bit of an upgrade, etc., etc. Those are the kinds of things that are 2 thumbs up. And if you don't have one of these, you might consider it. Okay? Because this day, boy oh boy, kind of goes along with June the 9th, but it's more. Okay, next slide, please. I'm frozen. Erica?
You still have June the 5th, 25th on here.
I just talked about June 25th.
Oh, my brain is freezing then.
That's okay. My brain's just not really here today either, so carry on. Neutral days, 3, 10, 25. There's that asterisk. So on the 25th, there's another move that isn't necessarily what we just talked about. And you might want to know about that. Next slide, please. June the 3rd, head or heart. head or heart? Should I do what my head says? Should I do what my heart says? That's the back and forth we can expect that day. And I'm not going to say your heart should win. I'm going to say go inside and listen for which one you should be paying attention to. Okay? If your head is saying something that is wildly divergent from your principles and core values, conditioning, maybe. Okay, just take care with that. But other than that, you're just going to have to be with yourself to know which one of the two, or get some really good coaching or advice to help you track which of the two really should get your attention that day. June the 10th, thick skin needed kind of day. Everybody, just because of what's moving, is going to be a little thin-skinned, more sensitive, more, not that those things are bad, but it's going to be easier to get triggered this day than usual. And thin skin or thick skin generally means, don't be sensitive. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is help yourself address whatever gets kicked up, because it's more likely to get kicked up on this. It's a really good self-possession and sovereignty practice day. And then the 25th, martyr amplification alert. Okay? If there's any place in you that kind of tends to martyrdom, you're going to have to keep your eye on it today. Okay? Sorry, but there you go. The thing I want to pay close attention to is that you may have done a whole lot of work here, and something may still get kicked up because it's coming from ancestral stuff. Okay, so if something does get kicked up, please understand, no need to be disheartened. Just know some of us signed up to do more ancestral work than others did, and that just means you hadn't gotten there yet. Okay? Okay, carry on. Next slide. Just one hotspot day. Yes, next slide. Now, this is, when I say tripwired, I mean tripwired. Anything inside you that has a trust issue is likely to get kicked up to this day. And so take care with the people around you. Take care with yourself. This is a really, really, really good self-care day. And just know everybody's just going to be real tender this day. Alrighty? And it could come out of nowhere. Just 1 minute you're fine, and the next minute, not so much. Alrighty? Definitely put this in your calendar, especially if you work with folks. Next slide, please. Favorite fields. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Next slide. There we go. Conversational nurturing marketing. Okay. Or reorienting your marketing so it is more of both conversational and nurturing. Okay. Nesting, sprucing, tending. We talked about that. In real life or virtual. Authentic schmoozing. And I put those two words together for a reason, because the moment someone says schmoozing, my back gets up. And there's a way to be a connector and authentic. And that's this month. Okay. So sometimes we've got to work on the things that have us go, ugh, so that we can get the ugh out of the way for us. Putting talent and genius in the spotlight. Many of us find that difficult. Healing money, security, emotional, and material, as well as self-worth wounds. And that's going to be around for a few months. Ancestral wounds. And I want you to know that that's family line and nation, because, yeah. Self-care services, nostalgia, nostalgia, nostalgia. Next slide, please. There's going to be an entrepreneurism surge. For those of you who offer services to brand spanking new entrepreneurs. I want you to know about this, but I also want you to know that some people will be putting themselves into this surge. There'll be a call to it, and they may not stay. In fact, many won't. And you need to keep that in mind. Okay. There will be, there will just be a pullback at some point. But for now, and through most of the summer, this will be here. Trust-based pitching and marketing. Again, I put pitching in there because most of us don't like that word, but to get the little out of it so that you can stand in trust. Boundary work is going to be big. Communication therapy for clarity's sake. Because a lot of us find reaching clarity for ourselves and then being made able to put that into our communication, big thing. Notice that that's right behind or next to boundary work, because they's kissing cousins. Ambition to plan with milestones, particularly for those who do not like to plan. And I mean that sincerely, okay? I don't want to suggest you abandon your way, but add into some planning, okay? There's a reason for it. It exists in the zodiac because we're all required to learn how, at least to a degree. Reviewing, revising, upgrading that plan, releasing aspirations, and relocating that energy into inspiring aims. So there's a difference between, and go Google, there's a difference between true inspiration and aspiration. We aspire more often than not because we're trying to be like the Joneses. And it's not ours. It's not our true desire. Okay? We're trying to signal, not stand. And that messes with a lot of people, has messed with me. So there's going to be some really interesting work, I suspect, coming up around this. And then networking and connecting with heart and real relationship at the core. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. I'm going to go to my notes again. I wanted to give you all a deeper dive into that 2-week period. Ordinarily, this is something I would explore with the members of the current. The first or second Friday of each month, we do something called Live with Lisa. And we go deeper into some moves. And I wanted to give you a little more of this because, yeah, it's important. Oops, wrong file. 1 second. I'm just going to my notes so I don't have to rely on my memory. Yeah. And I wanted to give you a taste of what that's like, in part because this one is important. And I wanted to make sure you have enough in your hands so that you can really lean into this. Okay? Yeah, because there are other things at play that are adding to this. And I'm not going to go very deep into the astrology, but I wanted you to know and have a taste of this, in part because I want you to be able to lean into this as fully as possible, because it's truly going to be delicious, potentially delicious for a number of people, because it's also setting things up for what's going on at the tail end of June into July with foundations, the third Q. And because I, for those of you who kind of been sitting on the fence and thinking about it, or it's just not the right time to join the current, but I want to give you another opportunity to consider and then come join us. We're about to enter Q3. There's massive things happening that could have mind-blowing effect on your life and on the life of your work to have impact in the world. And I don't want you to miss out on that. Okay? Okay. Okay. So this sweet, sweet moment. Oh, Erica's going to put the hot link to go look at the current into the chat. We are quickly approaching a threshold, an energetic threshold. Many of you are likely feeling it. I've also heard it talked about as the event horizon. We're getting to a point where things are becoming more difficult to ignore, where change is accelerating and momentum is building, and you know what we're talking about, okay? And all the things that are moving around, particularly the last couple of months and in this month, are building and building and building, okay? And there is incredible invitation and sweetness in that sweet moment, that 2-week period. But inside of it is this too. There is a kind of, it is wanting to help us get better, learning to respond rather than react in the midst of acceleration and building pressure. Okay? So that we can develop and live more from self-possession and sovereignty. So that when moments of sweet expansion are available, we can lean in and make exceptional use of it. And when this background building is also occurring, we're not reaching for that sweetness as a defense against feeling the creative call that's tense and got some pressure to it. Okay? I want you to know that in the background of all of this, Mars, our action instinct, is actually, doing a really interesting dance with our Pluto, who's over there in Aquarius. And that's creating some static. That's going to be kind of like sandpaper gritting up against each other in the background, which could have a great many of us reaching for sweetness so we don't have to experience that. And what our stars want to help us is have the sweetness, but reach for it from a deepening ability to be with our own creative tension so we don't add to the static, so we don't succumb to the pressure, so we don't leave, but land more deeply in. So fear or anger or survival instincts we're not being pushed around by those things getting activated, but able to be with the intensity and reach into your true action instinct, not the reactive stuff. Okay? And be present in your own energy, in your own self-possession, in your own sovereignty, so that what you are able to come from as you lean into the sweetness and the potentiality of that 2 weeks creates well for you. It allows you to come from fierceness that is not reactive, that allows you to come from true deep transformation and not a desire to hide or escape. Now, please understand, there are times when being in incubation is completely appropriate, depending on where you are in your life. And this is a year, folks. This wants to remind us by asking a question. How are you channeling all this potency? Are you letting it help you go deeper so that you can also go higher from a rooted in yourself place for yourself and for the rest of us? So we don't overpower and we don't underpower, but we are in our place in the middle, dynamically so. Not meeting intensity with more unnecessary intensity, but being conscious and more aware and more rooted in our own creative intelligence. Not bypassing the pressure or force, but learning how to use it to create diamonds. Pressure instead of adding to the chaos. There is so much opportunity here, real opportunity and breakthrough possible. It just made sense for us to have a chat about this so we could be with it together. It is sweet, and what's coming is even greater. And I just wanted to remind us all that this is where we are and why our stars are doing what they're doing for us as individuals and for us as a collective. And especially if you know yourself to be an agent of transformation, that is the call today. Yeah. And I wanted to make sure you knew. I hope that's helpful. If you have questions, I'd love to hear them. Next slide, please. Live for July is on the 25th of June at our usual time of 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's a Thursday again, as usual. Next slide, please. So again, I'd love to hear if you have any shares, if you have any questions about the entirety of live and about that deeper dive. I'd ordinarily reserve for members of the current or those taking Living the Deeper Story. Please consider joining us. There is so much opportunity, and we've got great practices and supports built in that are just around the corner. I don't want you or your life or your work to miss out. In the meantime, I'd love to hear your questions, your shares. So anything that you want to pop into the chat or turn your microphone on, I'd love to hear you.
Lisa, can you remind me and us which 2 weeks this is that you were just speaking of?
Yeah, Erica, can you go back to the opportune days slide? Thank you. Back. There we go. The 9th. Starts the 9th. 14 days roughly from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else? Questions, observations, wonderings? Where are you at?
Well, I can jump in.
Thank you. All yours.
Hi. I have been noticing. I mean, is it okay if like I would just refer to anything that's come
Sure.
today, including current things, everything?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. So I have been very much noticing more of I think it's different than burnout. It is a kind of there's a reconfiguring,
Mm-hmm.
a reconfiguring that makes me think of someone reminded me of the butterfly, the what happens in a butterfly. Recently, they even named one extra piece I'd never heard of, which is as the caterpillar is turning to the mush state in the chrysalis, there are these cells called imaginal cells,
Uh-huh.
and they start to cluster,
Uh-huh.
find each other, and you can look at that like as a whole bunch of different people, as each person is an imaginal cell, but I'm right now
Yep.
looking at it as inside of me, the imaginal cells inside of me
Yep.
are finding each other. But I mean, I have no idea.
Right.
I have only the dimmest idea of even what they will be. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't know, even with all my great thinking and divining and feeling into, I can't know even.
Right.
So
Yep.
I'm just still in the extended, um, I don't get to know and I only get to kind of go slow still.
Yeah.
God, it's really something.
Yeah.
So just lifting that up.
Yep. Yeah. You might even put it this way, Kalita. You shouldn't know, because what you do know would put those imaginal cells into an organization that you're probably attempting to leave.
Yes, no, you're right. The
Yeah.
it's not like it can't,
Yeah.
for my own benefit,
Yes. Yep.
I can't organize it. I just actually have to.
Yeah.
I don't even know the verb of my relationship to it. I don't know the verb. I'm not sure what it is.
I understand.
And I love verbs and I know verbs and love verbs. I don't know the verb for now.
Yep. Good. I'm good for you. And frustrating as hell, isn't it?
It's just
Yeah. I hear you.
it seems like I'm not doing anything, but I
Uh-huh.
know I'm doing a lot.
Yeah.
Not doing. Doing's the wrong verb. A
Right.
lot is afoot. A lot is
A lot is
happening. A
yeah.
lot is afoot.
A lot is good. Well, think about saying that to a womb that is housing a growing fetus. It's like saying
Oh
nothing happened.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what? Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks for sharing, Kalita.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. And yeah, sending you love to your whole body and brain.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Mm.
Hi, Lisa. This is Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. I think it's sort of a little different than Kalita. I've been so overactive, like feeling like I have to work all the time. And in a way, it's not like anyone's forcing me to. I just feel like Uranus and Gemini or something has been, and maybe the Aries, has been making me work at a furious pace in writing.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling like I really hope that I slow down in June. And so I'm like, okay, maybe that's what June's going to be for me, a little slow down in
Yeah,
June.
the Cancer energy could be very useful. And Chiron in Taurus could
Yeah.
also, because that will, yeah, because that's a call to depth and to moving at a pace that's the pace of the body, not the mind.
Hmm.
So yeah, that I would look to see again where Taurus is for you. I'd pay close attention to that preview and where Cancer is for you.
Well, I don't know if you can do this here, but it's in my first house, the Taurus, and the Cancer's in the third house. So I feel
Well,
like,
Cancer is very likely to slow down communication because third house,
well, that's
right?
probably good.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Well, I
And
feel like it's all been appropriate that I
right,
needed to do all this work, and now I need
yeah,
to regroup and then really refine it. I feel
right.
like
So
I've done a
here's the
lot.
thing that might be worth holding on to for everybody,
Hmm.
and that hopefully this is supportive for you.
Hmm.
With Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini, and there's lots of Gemini energy this month too. The thing to remind yourself is we're attempting to learn how to be self-possessed with a faster pace.
Hmm.
And to some degree, it's going to feel like we just have to. And the question becomes, well, at first, yes, it's like riding a horse that's just taken straight off out of the barn. And you don't know how, other than to just hang the hell on. But over time, it is. So, how do you be self-possessed inside the call to increase your pace without letting the call to increase your pace burn you out? Because that is our responsibility. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think part of what I've been working really hard at and having to is creating foundations because I'm redoing my business completely.
Okay.
And it was interesting because I was kind of looking back what you told me in February in my the soul transmission
Motion map.
motion map.
Yeah.
That this was going to be its year of foundation building. But I didn't
Yes.
know it was going to happen a lot in the beginning of the year
Right.
and then cleaned up through the rest of the year.
Right.
Yeah, but you're right. I think there is something about
Yep.
learning to deal with the pace of change too.
That's right. Because we're all called to go fast right now,
Mhm.
period. Because of it's the age of air. I mean, that's go fast.
Mhm.
And we can't, we can, but the truth of the matter is, if we succumb to this is, I have to. Well, no, you don't. Go faster, yes. Without self-governance, hell to the no. Learn how, yeah. And some of us are gonna feel the edges or go right into burnout because we don't notice that it's time to learn how to be self-possessed and self-governed inside the age of air. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
I feel like I'm just learning.
Yeah, I know, me too.
A lot of craziness, but thank you. This was very helpful, and I
Oh,
hope you
good.
feel better
Thank you for
too.
sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I can't wait to hear more. Anybody else?
Hi, it's Sabina.
Hi, Sabina.
Yeah.
Hi.
Um, so the way this always happens for me, it's like when you describe things, it's already happening.
Yeah.
And so I've been in a very, very extended period of what are kind of scary difficulties or have been, and I can see that I've been given ways to come out of those.
Mm,
And as everyone else was sharing here, especially, I noticed more than I noticed before what is already in effect. Like it's all coming from the Tarian wounds that you mentioned,
yeah.
which I've been working on and had spiritual assistance with since I was maybe 3 or maybe 6.
Uh-huh.
No kidding. Um, and so, but what's been coming is like the sprucing up, the actually making a home,
Yeah.
the security, all that. And then uh, next to I was going to say against, but next to okay, I have to do this, I have to do this, or, I'm not going to have my basic needs covered.
Right.
Right. But the thing I sometimes I get the message on a particular day too internally, but I have the desire a lot of the time, like every time you interact with like a person, particularly someone who cares and is offering assistance and connects, but also like companies or whatever, they're looking for reviews, right? And that's all like fed into the AI system. But I just want to like take the time to do the thing of saying thank you and
Yeah.
appreciating and
Yep.
connecting. And then I lapse and don't get to it, or something else takes over. And it sounds like that 2 weeks is going to be like a good time to do that, um, and support that. And the
Mm,
other thing is the thing about coming from for real, finally, that's so
yeah.
supported, coming from the place of not being reactive, like being self-possessed from all the work that I've done and has been given to me a way to do it, to actually be able to put that into effect, because knowing and understanding doesn't mean being able, right?
Say that again.
Oh, I jumped from one thing I was saying to
No,
the
you said
next.
it
Yeah.
brilliantly. That's why I'm asking you to repeat it.
Okay, so coming from self-possession and not self-governance,
Yep.
sovereignty, not reactivity.
Yep.
It's like my beloved before he died was so trying to teach me that my way of like coming at things with what looks to other people like aggression, but
Right.
it's just me, saying, okay, this is the truth and this is what's called for here. And, not being afraid to hold people responsible. It's like, it's impossible to function
Mm,
in that way and elicit collaboration. And
mm,
it's like, so it's been a long, long haul to straighten those things that bring that kind of energy coming out
right.
of me when that's not even my nature, to straighten those out inside myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's unproven ground. But to repeat it, the coming from actual transformation and rooted in, what else did you call it? There was one other thing next to that. Um, Rooted in the transformation and what was it,
I,
Lisa?
I don't know. I've said a lot of things today.
Yeah, okay, I had it the first time I said it, but just it's like it's been a long work of love to
Yep.
come to that place, and still knowing it doesn't mean being able. And
There you go.
it gives
Knowing
me,
it is
yeah,
not ability yet, capacity for. That's the thing.
yeah,
That's the thing. And that's what Mars and Pluto is about. Are you really able? Have you built the capacity? Are you aware that you need to build? You can't just decide you're able. You actually have to experience your way into increased capacity and ability. And that's the way of it for all of us. I sound like the Mandalorian. This is the way. But you know what I mean.
well, it feels like all of those things that keep happening that are extremely challenging are something that I have created in order to help me gain that capacity.
Well, so I'm going to add an extra layer because we talked about ancestral healing
Yeah.
today.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so sometimes it is. And sometimes it's what you and your ancestors agreed you would attempt this lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Often when we say, I know I created it, well, that's like assigning extraordinary responsibility to yourself. And by responsibility, I mean, carrying a heavy freaking weight. Like, this is my doing. Okay. But do you carry yet with you, moment to moment, day in and day out, the conscious capacity to carry that? Or are you, in a way, holding yourself to account for things you're still working your way into? Like, just watch the tone, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay? You
Yeah.
didn't create this all by yourself. None
No.
of us did. Okay, good. Because
Yeah.
I have to remind myself of the same thing. I didn't create this all by myself. I sure as hell didn't create everything we're living through right now all by myself.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks, Sabina.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to hear you.
Hmm.
Anybody else? Anything you want to offer, share, ask? Okay. There is a really sweet period this month, no two ways about it. And underneath that, deeper in the sweetness and the call to what it can bring you and us, is that call to build capacity and to stay with the tension. And that's a tough one. It is, it's work. Can I just have the sweetness, please? The last couple of years have been hard. I feel you. I really do. And thank you so much for being here, y'all. I really appreciate it. I wish you tremendous sweetness in June and beyond. And I wish you more ease with the work that's underneath the deeper. And please do consider, if you're not already a member of the current, or you didn't put yourself into the class, the deeper story, please, please consider it. The practices that we're engaging with together do make things easier. I'm watching what's happening. It's been about, well, not quite 6 months since we started, and I'm watching some things, folks. I'm watching some things. So please consider, so you can make this year the most it could be for you. And in the meantime, we'll be back here with live for July at the end of June. I think the date was the 25th at the same time. I would love to hear your voices if you'd like to turn on your microphones and just say bye so we can say goodbye together. That'd be great.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye, Lisa. Thank
Bye,
you.
Sylvia.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye, you. You take care.
Wish you relief also.
Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Take y'all. Bye.